Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our channel. So today we're going to do another how-to, because the how-tos for motorhome retrofits are really doing well, and it's obvious that people out there like yourself watching this may need our services in doing something that is very common. So if Sammy comes on over, what we're going to do today is we're going to replace this Habitation door lock. So if Sammy can come on over, this is a standard Fiamma Habitation door lock. It comes with two keys, like so, and depending on the lock, they do get a little bit old and tired, but it just stops the door from being opened. Even though this will be locked when the motorhome when you're away from the motorhome, this will stop it from being opened. Now, what's happened with this motorhome is the door lock has seen better days. Now, probably because this motorhome lives on the south coast. A lot of salty sea air, and the anodized or powder coated paint has corroded. Look, I can't even open the lock, so there you go. Now, the lock opens like so, all the paint's chipping off. So in this video today, we're going to show you the simple process of removing this lock and replacing it with exactly the same product, but the Fiamma safe door lock. Now, there comes in grey, black and white. Obviously we're going to fit the new white one. Comes with a set of two keys, and then we're going to show you the simple process of doing this yourself so that you can save time and money. Right, starting inside the vehicle, what you're going to need is probably a little trim tool. If you haven't got one of these, it's not really a big deal, but these little white caps here just pop off, and they just sit over the bolts and make it look pretty. On this particular motorhome, there's a little key hook so that when you're out and about, you can pop the keys in there. So put that to one side. Now, most of these installations are pretty straightforward. You will have a Phillips bolt, so you just need a normal Phillips screwdriver like so, and you can get in there and you can undo each of the 4 bolts. So just to speed things up a little bit, let's get the Makita on there, and we're just going to remove. So once you have released all 4 of the bolts, I'm just using my thumb and forefinger now to unthread the last parts of the bolts. My other hand is on the outside of the motorhome, because what you don't want to do is find that you're then suddenly at that position where the other end of the door lock falls off and damages you or your motorhome. So, as the last bolt comes off, you'll probably find that the plate becomes loose with it. So there's the reinforcement plate, and there's the last bolt. Now, my right hand is then holding on to the lock, which has now come away, and you can see why it was time for replacement. And of course, once the new one is on, it's going to look much neater and nicer. So if we then compare old to new, these are the 2 locks, identical in operation, just a much newer, nicer powder coated model. So what I'm going to do now is do everything in reverse. So I'm going to pop this on. Don't forget, you will have your rubber gasket, and what I suggest you do is on the outside of your motorhome, depending on what damage, or if you've got an algae mark or a dirt mark, some baby wipes, or if you've got something better, just to clean that up, some spirit wipes ready for your new mat to go on. This doesn't necessarily make it waterproof, it just gives you a nice gasket between your new lock and the motorhome itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, because the lock is already open, I'm going to line up my gasket on the outside like so. And simply, because I've got one hand holding the gasket, I'm going to then thread one of my bolts through the metal plate and line it up so that I can get the first bolt in. Now, if Sammy can show you on the camera exactly what I've done, because it's easy for me to say. I do this on a very regular basis. What you need to do, very importantly, is just make sure that all the bolts go in. Don't, whatever you do, start doing up the bolts and thinking that you can do them all up individually, nice and tight. You will get a problem, and then you'll find that you're going to cross thread or something simple. Now, with the screwdriver, I'm just going to use the end of the screwdriver to feel, to make sure that the bolt is actually going in and threading into the other side of the lock effortlessly. If you are already meeting an obstruction at this point, then chances are your bolt is not lined up with the thread, and if you keep persisting, it's going to cross thread. Now, it is essential that once you have started to thread all 4 of your bolts through, you can just slowly start to feel the thread. You know that it's not just spinning because you can feel the actual lock itself taking on. Now, what I have done before with these is actually just lift the lock away on the outside, push the bolt through all the way through the hole just so that it lines up with the thread. If you do that, you know that you're not going to cross thread anything, because that is the worst thing you can do. And then once you've done that, you've potentially damaged it, unless you've got a tap and die set, which is then going to take and waste more of your time. So whilst I'm doing this, I'm just going to individually tighten up all of the individual screws. Then when we get to the point that I feel safe, I'm going to use the power tool just to give it a quick ratchet up, but not to the point that I could potentially do damage to the thread. Now, the noise that you can hear is because there's a clutch on here, and that means that I'm not going to then do it up so tight that we're going to do damage. So now at this point, I'm going to use the screwdriver, because there's nothing better than manual operation. We can all use power tools for a lot of things, but now I am obviously leaning in doing this so that we can get a good camera angle on there as well. And do the 4th one up. So once you've done all of those up, you don't need to go super tight with those. You just need to do them up so that they're nice and tight and solid. What you will find is in the pack, you'll get a brand new Fiamma cup, or cap, not a cup. On the back of here, you've got a little spline or Christmas tree. If you push that in, it just makes sure that it's going to fit in the middle of here nicely, because if you put it in at the wrong angle, you'll then be there forever trying to push that cap on, and they don't always fit. Trust me, I've done it enough times. So that goes on there nicely, and that just covers that. If I wanted to, we could get another one of these, or take this off and stick that back on there. And now we're at the point of going on the outside of the motorhome, showing you what it looks like on here and seeing if it works. Right, now we're on the outside of the motorhome. We've done our 4 bolts up, we've put our protective cover back on, and now we're ready to see if this is all going to look the part and do the job. So the lock is currently open, and the actual lock itself can maneuver 90 to 180, whatever you want to do. It's whatever's neatness or whatever type of setup you've got. So I'm going to open it like so. I'm now going to shut the Habitation door, and we're going to see if the lock causes any problems. No, exactly the same as one before. You'll get 2 of these numbered keys with your lock, and you can buy multiples that are keyed alike, I believe. So if you've got 2 doors or a Habitation and a garage door, or even 3, you can have them keyed alike. So you can put the key in like so, then you can push, and that's locked, and put your little cover back on, which I didn't have with the old one, and now that's locked. And as you can see, nice neat job, it's solid, it's not going anywhere, and what a difference that makes. So all we've done in the space of about 20 minutes, and again, put the key in, twist, pull, and open. And you've just replaced your own Habitation door lock. This could be a Habitation door, this could be a garage door. As long as the right lock is purchased, then you can replace this yourself and save money. Another video for Motorhome Retrofits. Get in touch with us if you want any specific how-to videos. And today's one, again, is a Fiamma door lock. There are other brands out there. We were just replacing what was on here when it was, I wouldn't say when it was manufactured, but it was when it was retrofitted at the time. So don't forget to follow us on social media, websites in the bio. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.